Hi, just coming on to give an update on my brother. So, late yesterday afternoon, um, video chat came up suddenly because my brother opened his eyes and started grunting, trying to talk. So we all got online, and he was definitely coming out of it a little bit, which was very encouraging. And we got to say we love you. And anyway, maybe 2 hours after that, I get a video chat again, and now he's actually talking. I mean, very difficult, but he was answering questions. One word, a couple times he asked for iced chips. He knew all of our names. He responded with "I love you" to both his daughters, to myself. I asked him if he had a cat. Yes. And he said, could name his cat. I said, "Are you ready to come home?" "Yes, please. I want to, go to Syracuse. Go to Syracuse." "Yes, please." So he was appropriate in his answers. And that gave, so we were all very clearly elated because, the morning before I was being told he probably won't survive. And they had taken his breathing tube out. Clearly, that's why he was able to talk. So at that point, he was okay. Okay for the most part. Within just a couple hours after that, I'd say by 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, his oxygen level bottomed out. They had him on 6 liters of O2, and they didn't want to re-intubate him. That, if you're not in the medical field, you won't understand that, but don't want to stay on a breathing tube. The longer you're on the breathing tube, the harder it is to ever get off of it. That's why they try to get it out as soon as possible. Thank God I'm a nurse, and thank God my sister's a respiratory therapist, which is so is my brother. So we kind of have a lot of bases covered. But anyway, they ended up having to put him on. They put him on a high flow, and then that didn't make it. So he's on a BiPAP now. They had to insert feeding tube and something else. And then at about midnight, 12:30, they did a chest x-ray because it wasn't sounding good. And the chest x-ray looked pretty bad. Did a follow-up chest x-ray this morning, and it actually was even worse. So now he already had dialysis. He's a diabetic. He has dialysis 3 days a week anyways, but they are dialysizing him again today to get even more fluid off. He's got way too much fluid around his heart and lungs. But he's been laying in bed for several days. My sister, who's the respiratory therapist, explained to me, because I'm a nurse, you don't specialize in everything, and she explained to me that this is not abnormal for somebody who's critical and who was just taken off, was intubated and was just removed from that. She said this is kind of common. It's not okay, but it's not, life shattering. She sees it all. She has seen it a lot in patients who have been intubated. So that's where we're at. We've done a lot of talking, all of us, going back and forth. My sister was going to look for plane fare to get out there. Excuse me. Then we realized, no, he needs his daughters. He doesn't need his sisters. He needs his daughters, who none of us have got money to fly the both of them there. His girlfriend who lives there, her family is going to put the girls up so they don't have to pay for a hotel, and a lot of their meals will be taken care of too. It's really mostly airfare and car fare and of course some meals. So we're booking the flight for the 12th, and we've got a GoFundMe on Facebook to help soften the blow, because none of us have got the funds to pay for the two of them their airfare. But pretty confident that, especially people who've known him for a long time, people who are close to him, will step up and donate. I pray. I was so elated last night with him talking and being able to respond to me, but I did say to the rest of the group who was on the group chat, do not be overly optimistic, because this can change in a heartbeat. We're all thrilled right now, yes. Happy, yes. But just know, prepare yourself. We have to count every minute, every single minute, until I don't know. We have to prepare ourselves that literally things can change in a second. I told my sister, I shared with her when we were going back and forth about who needs to get down there. We knew somebody had to get there. We had to get there. I said, I can't. I don't travel anyways. I don't travel well. When I was my healthiest, and we did travel quite a bit when I was my healthiest, but I never enjoyed the traveling part of it. I liked being in the destination, but the airfare and getting to the place, I never do well. And with my Mel debarkment, I do well with movement, but then when I'm sedentary, I don't do well, and I would be afraid. I haven't been on an airplane since I've been sick. I have no idea how I would react to an airplane. I just admitted to her that I'm scared to death that if I tried to travel, I would end up bedridden, housebound, sicker than a dog again, not functioning. I'm just too afraid of that. I'm so afraid of that. But it doesn't matter, because he needs his daughters more than he needs me. I had a pretty bad night. I had several nightmares. I know the LDN causes some of these nightmares, because some nights I won't, and some nights I have horrific, and I won't even try to tell you some of these, but I mean horrific nightmares that I wake up so startled I can't calm down. Twice it happened last night. The second time it happened around 4, and there was no going back to sleep. I was just really jacked up this morning. But I have my grandson here. He's taking his nap right now. So he had to get up, he had to get dressed, he had to get ready for him to get dropped off, because I don't have a choice. That's the other thing. I really couldn't go anywhere because I babysit 3 days a week, and my daughter wouldn't have anyone to cover for me. I mean, this is actually a job now. She depends on me 3 days a week, and has somebody else the other 2. So I'm going to go back. Now with this going on with my brother, I definitely am going to make an appointment with my integrative practitioner and go and see her and just discuss some other options for me. Because if he doesn't make it, we have to go there and bring him home. I would have to travel. And even if he does, if he makes it, I still have to travel. I have to. It might not be by plane. It won't be by plane. But once he is out of critical condition, once he is stable enough to be in a rehab, because he will never go back home. Even if he wasn't going to move back here, he would never go back home. He never can live alone again after this. Never. Trying to hold it together. So once he is stable enough to be sent to a rehab, our plan is that we are taking a van, myself, my stepmother, I don't know who else, one of his daughters, because by that time his other daughter will have moved to Texas. She's moving to Texas in November. So we will have to go and gather up his belongings. We're not, as minimal as we can, and get him and bring him here and put him in a rehab here near me. And then we'll take it from there. So that's my update, guys. I don't know what else I can add. So he woke up, he was responsive, he was talking. There's still really nothing on the left side. We don't know what that means as of yet. It's still really just trying to keep him alive. Still, they clearly won't go back in. I don't know when they'll go back in and replace the skull. They did a CAT scan today. That's the other part of it. They did do a CAT scan to make sure the bleeding had indeed stopped, and apparently it has stopped. So there's no more bleeding. I haven't talked to anyone from the hospital. I've only been talking to the girlfriend who's been there all day. She was there all night. She never went home because he was so bad. She sent a couple videos of him throughout the night, and as a clinician, I've seen this a billion times, and it would never affect me. It's like, yeah, I've seen this type of, he was in such distress. But when it's your loved one, to watch somebody in that kind of distress, you just want to reach out and grab them and help them. And so that was very difficult to watch. I said that was tough to watch, those videos of him throughout the night in such distress. And I'm just grateful that his girlfriend is there, because that's the only one there's no one else there with him. He's completely alone. And that's why we've got to get his daughters there. We've got to get his daughters down there, because it means so much when you have family and loved ones around a person who is trying to fight for their life. So thank you for coming on. Please continue to pray, please. I need prayer too. I don't want to fall apart. I don't want to lose all the work that I've gotten through in the last 2 years, and I don't want it to just all go to crap, because your mental being has so much to do with your physical being, and my mental being is not good right now. And so I'm very fearful of myself becoming extremely ill again. Anyway, God bless. And I'll try to come back on when there's more to tell. Bye-bye.